Hi, my name is Channing Dorman, and I'm going to be presenting today on Kofi Annan. The title of my presentation is Attempting to Save an Entire Nation. War, genocide, starvation, anti-religious acts, and sexual assault. Misfortunes we are all far too familiar with. These are also unfortunate circumstances that Kofi Annan dealt with throughout his entire career. But today I'm going to be focusing specifically on how these issues affected the people within his homeland of Africa. So the three countries I'm going to be talking about today in Africa are going to be Ghana, Somalia, and Rwanda. So two major wars occurred during the early years of Kofi Annan's career. I'm going to begin by talking about the first one, being the civil war in Somalia. So this was due to the Siad regime or government that was in place, and this was a war that had an estimated 4.5 million Somalis malnourished, 1.5 million Somalis at immediate risk for death. When everything was all said and done, a war that would take the lives of over 1 million individuals. So Kofi, along with the UN, created an organization to help out these individuals that were in need. This organization will be touched on a little later throughout the presentation. So the next war was the one that occurred in Rwanda. This was due to the Hutu and Tutsi tribes, two tribes that had previously lived peacefully side by side with one another, but the Tutsis desperately wanted to gain control over the Hutus as they had in the early 1960s, leading to the massacre at hand. So once again, Kofi and the UN send over peacekeeping troops, create an organization to help out these individuals that did need help. This will again be touched on a little later throughout the presentation. So as you can see from this picture, this individual was stacking bones of dead bodies on top of each other. This is from the genocide that occurred in Rwanda. There was 800,000 lives lost over the course of 100 days. And as you can see, these houses were built all across the country to actually house these bodies just because of how big of a catastrophe it actually was. And the last issue I'm going to be touching on today is HIV and AIDS, also known as the silent killer. So human immunotherapy virus, also known as HIV, is a virus that attacks our CD4 and T cells. Now these are the cells that help us fight off infections. Now if left untreated, it can turn into acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, also known as AIDS. So some quantitative statistics to just give you a different point of view of how deadly this disease is. As of 2015, there were 37 million individuals living with HIV. That's about 5,800 new cases, or of these 37 million, there was about 2.5 million individuals were new cases this year. So that's about 5,800 new cases a day, equivalent to about 240 new cases an hour. So some statistics that touch a little closer to home. Within the United States, there are 1.2 million individuals living with HIV. 1 out of every 8 of these individuals don't know they have this disease, which is the alarming and scary statistic in my opinion. So we look at that number and we're like, 1.2 million, that's a lot of people within one country living with HIV. Well, this is a very minute value in comparison to the individuals living in Africa with HIV. So in Eastern and Southern Africa, there are 19 million individuals living with HIV, of half of whom are women. And in second place, we have Central and Northern Africa with 6.5 million individuals living with HIV, of 60% of whom are women. So as you can see, this disease specifically targets the continent of Africa more than any other continent in the world. And this is where Kofi Annan was born and raised. So he desperately wanted to erase the stigma that was associated with AIDS because he got to experience firsthand how detrimental this disease was towards his brothers and sisters. He wanted individuals to be able to seek treatment without being shunned by their community and family, which happens far too often within Africa. So this is just a graph that shows the top 10 countries this was as of 2014, but if you're not familiar with any of these countries, they are all located within Africa. So I'll give you a brief history of these issues that Kofi Annan dealt with. Now let's get to meet Kofi a little better. He was born April 8, 1938 in Ghana, and the significance of this time period was Ghana was attempting and succeeding in becoming the first sub-Saharan country to be liberated of British rule. So this is just one of the instances that helped shape Kofi to the individual he is, as well as the influence of his father. So many of us have influential parents and grandparents. Same thing went for Kofi. His father was an Anglican and Freemason. He also raised Kofi and his 4 siblings non-tribal in a tribal society, which at this time period was looked down upon as, different and weird, but this was just another circumstance that helped shape Kofi. And the last thing was the fact that Kofi had lived in 3 continents by the time he attended grad school. He obviously grew up in Africa, then he moved to the United States and attended undergraduate school there, and he would continue his graduate career in Switzerland, leading to his first job working for the World Health Organization in Geneva, Switzerland. He would then continue to work various lower-ranking positions within the United Nations, finally becoming our 7th Secretary General of the United Nations. So the 3 issues that I've talked about previously before this slide are 3 of the major contributions that Kofi and the United Nations had to win the 2001 Nobel Peace Prize, which is what this presentation is focusing specifically on. So that is Kofi Annan right there. So let's see how Kofi Annan and the United Nations dealt with these issues when they arose. When it came to the civil war in Somalia, there was said to be no peace to be kept. So Kofi Annan sent peacekeeping troops over to the Somalian civil war to help out these individuals that were in need. But we find out from the civilians in Somalia that they were not wanted. So from a peacekeeping troops perspective, they did not want to be helping out individuals that did not want them in their own country. But nonetheless, Kofi urged them to continue to do their job. And as well as keeping the peace, he wanted them to deliver food to the individuals that were in need. Now this is easier said than done because there were actually government-designed factions to prevent this from occurring, leading to the starvation of millions of individuals. So Kofi desperately asked for help from outside sources. This outside source in this case was going to be the United States. He got on the phone with the President of the United States at the time, this was George Bush Sr., and they created a plan called Operation Restore Hope. So Operation Restore Hope was designed to pretty much end the Somalian civil war, and they did just that, but unfortunately after they ended the war, that is where they drew the line. So they withdrew their troops, leaving a country in shatters with no direction or guidance on which way they should go. So Kofi kind of picked up where Operation Restore Hope left off, and they created UNISOM 2. This was kind of that helping hand, that big brother role to help Somalia keep progressing forward, to get out of the situation that they were just currently in, and to actually recover from the catastrophe that just happened in their country. So as we see from this picture, this is a Somalian soldier teaching a kid no older than 8 or 9 years old how to shoot an automatic rifle. A picture that might look, outlandish or crazy to us, but this is everyday occurrences for individuals in war-torn countries. So when it comes to the war in Rwanda, or the genocide in Rwanda, as the title says, this was in the shadows of Somalia. So the Somalian civil war just previously ended a few years ago, so the genocide in Rwanda was not getting the national coverage it needed and so rightly deserved. But Kofi sat down with leaders from both tribes and created the Arusha Accords. Now this was a peace settlement that essentially was going to share power between the government and the army for both sides for both tribes. But once this peace settlement was signed, funds from outside countries stopped coming in. Funds that the country of Rwanda so desperately needed to help keep moving forward and get out of the situation that they were in. So this led to Kofi and the United Nations making the assist mission of UNIMAIR 2. They were going to help bring funds into the country of Rwanda, as well as help them run their country, so kind of give them guidance on how to govern their country, as well as help them within their army and other missions as well. And this was going to hopefully help them become a culture of prevention rather than reaction. Now this is a quote that Kofi liked to live by and felt that many individuals in Africa should do the same, and all across the globe. Now I'm not saying that by living by this quote, the genocide in Rwanda could have been stopped, but all the lives that were lost, it might not have been as many. So this is a quote on Time magazine during the Rwandan genocide, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory. And the last issue at hand was HIV and AIDS. So Kofi sat down with a few individuals from the World Health Organization as well as UNAIDS, and they created awareness and educational seminars, and they were hosting these all across the globe. Now these seminars were hopefully going to implant information into these individuals' brains to help them prevent the spread of this virus. So for example, mothers that were nursing and just had their baby, they were not going to be able to breastfeed if they had the HIV virus, because the virus could actually be spread through breast milk. Stuff that might seem common knowledge to us, but individuals within these third world countries where education isn't as easily as accessible, this is stuff that they do not know. So other than just preventing the spread of the virus and hosting these seminars, Kofi was huge on receiving global funding from other countries. Countries such as the United States, France, Germany, other countries within NATO, non-government organizations, and even individuals such as Bill Gates were donating millions to this cause annually. But in my opinion, the greatest contribution that Kofi had towards this disease was reducing the price of these antiretroviral therapy drugs. Now these were the drugs that are used to treat HIV because there is no cure. Drugs that were previously $15,000 a year per person, but Kofi and a few other people put a lot of pressure on these pharmaceutical companies and actually got them to reduce the drugs to a measly $150 a year. So individuals within third world countries where this disease is so prominent and plagues all of them, they were actually going to be able to afford the drugs that they needed to help them out. So this is an individual living with AIDS. Now everyone with HIV and AIDS does not look like this, but this guy is probably on his last few days of his life. And as we see, he has muscle atrophy as well as brain encephalopathy, so you have swelling of the brain. GI tract issues are common with this as well, and it just eats away at the body. And this is unfortunately what the disease does to millions of individuals all across the globe. Now when looking at the future of Africa, I think more Kofi Annan-led organizations such as UNIMER 2 and UNISOM 2 need to be created and implemented. These organizations were vital in the success and the recovery of countries like Somalia and Rwanda. Similar organizations could do the same when it comes to the current drought that is occurring in Somalia. Now, the same thing could go for the civil war that just ended in Sudan in 2015. This war desperately needed help from individuals from outside sources, and organizations did help them out, but not like they could have. Now, when it comes to the current state for HIV and AIDS, I don't think you can directly relate the success of the awareness of this disease to Kofi and the United Nations, but you can partially relate it to them. Before they brought this disease to the light of everyone's eyes, it wasn't getting the recognition it deserved. People kind of brushed it to the side and it wasn't taken as seriously as it is to this day. Now, with that being said, I learned a lot doing this research on Kofi over this semester, and I hope by looking at this presentation you learned the same. Here are my references.